past couple of years, I started making enough money to buy a house, and I still have plenty after the monthly bills. My family has been pranksters and at times entitled my whole life, but at a recent gathering they took the cake. I had no contact with them for years, but they convinced me to reconnect after I moved closer. For gifts, I got them all good stuff, like tablets for the kids with built-in DVD players, sports memorabilia and camping stuff for my dad, brother and uncle, specific antiques, jewellery and appliances for my mom, sister-in-law and aunt. I brought my girlfriend with me, as the little family she has is horrid, so she was delighted to spend time with my family. Everything was going smoothly, and I warned my family no pranks on me or my girlfriend at all. They swore none would happen, but they couldn't resist. We got attacked by silly string from multiple fronts. That stuff reeks and gets everywhere. Somehow we powered through that. But then came the gifts. I wasn't expecting much, but none of them even tried. I got dollar store cooking utensils, a pair of hideous holiday socks that I confirm was also dollar store, and a pink hat. And that was just from my parents. They all kept sniggering and recording me as I unwrapped random junk. One is a used mirror of a car I no longer own, and the one gift there to my girlfriend was a bottle of fart spray. I told them I'd had enough and they agreed to no pranks. Long story short, they weren't just gag gifts, they were the only presents there for us. I had enough and just started gathering all the presents I bought. They all freaked out and demanded I give them back. I told them all that they didn't change one bit and they could kiss all of that stuff goodbye. We bagged everything and stormed out. The family kept calling and messaging me that I was greedy, I couldn't take a joke or think of anything to get me, and the kids were crying. I don't need to go on. Am I the idiot? Also, I've refused to return any of their presents. Edit, I had no contact with them before because when growing up I was the overly serious type used as a scapegoat for my brother, and I was just treated poorly, like I was unwanted half the time. I was the unplanned son while my brother was not. They also have the worst sense of humour. Try sharing a house with a cheesy parody of the Jackbutt crew. After many years of no contact, my parents acted like they'd seen the error of their past and apologised for it. But now I think they're all just waiting for me to let down my guard. They stalked my social media and came to my door with flowers after I moved back to the area 2 years ago. I wasn't mentally ready for the reconnection, but they convinced me. Not the idiot. What is wrong with your family? A prank is only funny if appreciated by everyone involved, and you warned them that you didn't want to partake in anything like that. Furthermore, how is it funny to get a loved one awful gifts without a genuine present at the end? Your family isn't pulling pranks, they're just being idiots. You did the right thing by taking away their presents, and while there's not much hope for the adults involved, maybe the kids might learn a valuable lesson about messing around and finding out. They're not to blame for all of this, but a point must be made. Time to go no contact with them again. Taking the gifts away is your prank. Can't they take a joke? I know, right? I can't understand these people. They grabbed the opportunity to prod OP one last time. Who gets the girlfriend fart spray for their child? Their child went no contact with them, and once he's ready to give them a second chance, they think the best thing to do is disrespect, humiliate and attack him. Either they're the dumbest or the meanest people ever, or both. And it feels like they may have reconnected with OP due to OP's recent financial success. If that's the case, they were all monumental idiots to make OP angry before they got the gifts free and clear. I'm sorry, this isn't just pranks, dude, this is bullying. You're still the scapegoat, and they thought they'd hooked you back in and didn't have to keep playing nice. The only thing they were concerned about when you left was the gifts. Not you, your girlfriend, your distress, your humiliation, your embarrassment, your future relationship with them. They cared for none of that, just the gifts. Cut them off. They'll never change. So, my friendship group is currently in shambles over this situation. The two main people are my, 24 female, friends Alex, 25 male, and Leah, 24 female. They hooked up and now Leah is pregnant, but Alex isn't happy about it. Alex and Leah have always been weirdly close, but they've never crossed the friendship line, and clearly, for good reason, the whole thing has been messy since Leah told him she was pregnant. He asked her to get rid of it and she said no, so he asked her not to tell his family about the baby yet, but she went ahead and told them. Most of our friendship group thinks she baby-trapped him for money since her family doesn't have much and Alex's are more comfortable. I originally was defending her, but then, while she was ranting to me about what an idiot Alex is, she said the only thing Alex would be good for was money and that her baby wouldn't need him as a father. She kept talking about Alex, money, and him being an ATM for a good 30 minutes. The conversation left a bad taste in my mouth, so I discussed it with Charlotte, my best friend, and Alex's ex, and we both agreed that it seemed like Leah only cared about the money. I said I was starting to agree with the friends who thought she baby-trapped him for money. Unfortunately, Charlotte mentioned it to a few other friends who told others, and it's gotten back to Leah. She hasn't said a single thing to me, and the only reason I know she now hates me is because Alex, of all people, confronted me about it and she blocked me. He told me to leave Leah alone and tried to guilt me because she was pregnant and needed her friends right now, but he was the one causing her the most stress. He said if I, or anyone else, said anything else about her, we'd have to deal with him. So most people are now denying ever saying she baby-trapped him, so I feel like I'm being thrown under the bus here. Charlotte said he's only playing hero because his family is all on his case now. Leah keeps running to them, so he has no choice but to act like he cares. Am I the idiot? You are the idiot. Stop calling Leah your friend because you are not a friend to her. Both Alex and Leah had consensual intimacy and are aware of the need for birth control. That's between the two of them. Alex is financially responsible for the baby and he knows that. That does not mean Leah baby-trapped him, only that she expects child support for his child. You said nothing to Leah but then sneaked around gossiping and spreading rumours without actual knowledge. Now you're reaping the consequences of running your mouth and thinking you're the victim. Your friend group is finding out that you are no friend but a malicious gossip. Yeah, nothing in the post even indicates she's baby-trapping him, lol. If I got pregnant after a hookup and the dad didn't want the baby, I'd at least be thankful he has the means to help support the baby financially. Most people would be glad about that, lol, especially if financial support is the only type of support they'll get and the dad isn't willing to parent. None of this is an indication of baby-trapping, lol. OP, you accused your pregnant friend of doing something terrible, with no actual evidence of her doing that thing, and spread that lie about her around. The situation was none of your business to spread gossip about to begin with. Of course you're the idiot. And remember, Alex knows what happens when he does it without protection. Don't go acting like he's some victim here. None of you are. Grow up and stop gossiping when it's none of your business. My parents named me Robin, teen male, and my sister Sky, 18. Our grandparents hate my name. They don't say much about my sister's name other than it's very new age for them and classic names are way better. But ever since I was young, they've brought up that my name is a girl's name, and traditionally it's always been used more for girls. There were times they tried to convince me to go by my middle name, Alexander, or would try to make me believe kids would bully me or were bullying me already, and I was just too naive to notice. My parents would tell them to stop, and we took a 4-year break from them when I was in middle school. But even with that and their apologising, they haven't stopped saying it. A few months ago I researched the name and saw that Robin was used for way more guys than girls in past centuries. It seemed like it was originally just a guy's name, but that could be a little off. Now it's totally suitable for either, but more girls have the name. They brought up my name again and I showed them the stuff I printed off the internet since they like to read paper and not screens. They dismissed it all as being misleading and said only girls had nature-type names back in the day, and all of them lean more feminine. They then told me Robin would get me mistaken for a girl a lot more in the future, and I would notice it more in my professional life, so why don't I start using Alexander or pick another actual boy's name? I told them they could just call me Rob if Robin bothers them so much. My sister told them to think of Robin Williams too. They said Rob would only work if my real name were Robert and all sorts of other BS, and then they told me to accept that Robin is a girl's name and do myself the favour my parents refused to do for me. I told them they were stupid for bringing it up so often and refusing to believe the facts I'd shown them. I said Robin suits both, and I'm sick and tired of them telling me I have a girl's name. My grandparents lost their minds and told my parents, who weren't upset with me, but the extended family said I should have kept calm like always. Am I the idiot? Huh, I never knew Robin Hood was a woman. Thank your grandparents for enlightening me. Robin Williams, Robin Gibb, Robin Thicke. All women. Good lord, your grandparents might have a stroke when they hear about Batman's male sidekick. Yep, you weren't paying attention, not to mention Robin Hood, but then again we're all missing the bigger picture and can't see that they're all girls. OP, you're not the idiot. Sending you love and strength, and I think your name is great. I know plenty of Robins of both genders, and they're all good people. You're a teen. If you were going to get bullied by anyone other than them about your name, surely it would have happened by now. LOL. Since you seem perfectly fine with it, I'm guessing you didn't get what they expected. Just more fuel for your fight. Their predictions literally never happened. But I think you should stop reacting to the nonsense. From now on, just walk away, ignore it, or refuse to talk about it. This sounds exhausting, and I don't think they'll ever truly accept it. My daughter, Teen, transferred to a new school this year. It's a private school, and part of their tradition is an overnight class trip every August at the beginning of the year. She was too late for this year, but next year's is a 2-night Philadelphia trip. One problem: no more than 6 people can share a hotel room, and there are now 37 girls that would need one. We found out that a group of 4 day-only kids, 3 girls and 1 boy, stay overnight in the same hotel. They just don't do it through the school. The 4 aren't super well liked, and there have been bullying issues, especially against the boy, but they're friends with each other, so the parents banded together and decided to fund and chaperone them themselves to avoid any issues. They do 2 rooms, one for the kids and one for whichever parent goes. They've reached out and offered to let my daughter share with them. She wants to do it. I'm not comfortable. Co-ed sleepovers are not acceptable. It's completely inappropriate. We've been back and forth with this for weeks. The verdict is clear. There's no open room she can get into through the school. They're not getting her a single room. We can't afford to do anything similar to the other independent group, and we just can't afford a co-ed sleepover. Going is not an option. She's devastated and begging me to reconsider. She says it's my fault that she even transferred schools in her sophomore year, and that we've had to move so much that this is the first time we'll be somewhere for multiple years. I think we need to pass, but now my husband is starting to waffle and say that maybe we should consider making an exception because everything has been hard on her, and this is a major school tradition and an opportunity for her to make friends. You can't just accept a co-ed sleepover. It's not 1 boy and 1 girl, and I'm definitely making assumptions here, so I'm already in the wrong for that. But being that boy in school, I wouldn't worry too much about that 1 boy. It sounds like you're looking for a reason just not to let your daughter go on that trip, so you should tell her you just don't want her to go. Info: did you fail to register in time? I didn't miss the enrollment for her to be a part of next year's group. We were just the last to enroll, so they'd booked it without her. Technically, I was a few days past the deadline. So you missed the deadline to sign up. This is completely your fault, and now you're punishing the daughter by not letting her go. I don't know what you think is going to happen at a co-ed sleepover with a single boy sharing a room with a bunch of girls, but have you considered that your daughter or one of the many girls she'd be on this trip with might be a lesbian, making the whole co-ed thing meaningless? You are the idiot, and I think you're here because you know it. You made a mistake. It's okay. Now fix it. It also seems like these kids are the overprotected ones. Instead of 37 kids being watched by 4 people, this is 4 kids being watched by one of their parents. If that's OP's main concern, why doesn't she volunteer to be the chaperone for these day kids and sleep in the room next to her daughter? Still overprotective, but at least reasonable. LOL, true. If for any magical reason OP would become a little bit more reasonable, she would probably make her daughter sleep in the room with her. Because God forbid 4 girls would share a room with a boy for the night on a school trip. OP, you might as well lock your daughter in the basement until she's of age for you to find her a suitable suitor to marry so she can bear your grandchildren. I've been with my boyfriend for 3 years. I was introduced to his 3 children 6 months or so ago. They're great kids, but all of them lack boundaries, and it's obviously a parental issue more so than their issue. They're a young male teen, a female tween, and a male pre-tween. The 2 younger ones have ADHD as well and are off the walls 24/7. We started doing weekend sleepovers 2 months ago, and it's honestly been a nightmare. For no other reason besides the fact that I have 0 space to decompress because the kids follow me everywhere I go. They have no clue how to entertain themselves. Given that they're literal children, I don't blame them, but my one hard limit is the kids being in my room. I don't like anyone in my bedroom. That's my private space. But there have been multiple times when I've been in the bedroom and one or all the kids will come in and take over my bed completely. I told my boyfriend I don't want anyone in my room and that it makes me uncomfortable, but it's almost as if he thinks it doesn't apply to his children, because just days after telling him this, He and I were watching a movie around 7 p.m. when the kids have their downtime and had a movie on for themselves in the living room, and all of his kids came into my room and immediately climbed into my bed, so I was stuck in a 2-foot square in my own space because I couldn't move otherwise. And it happens all the time. If we're in my room, they are too. If we're in the kitchen, they follow us. If we go outside, they're right behind us, but we can't get them to go outdoors by themselves. Yesterday I had a terrible day, family stuff. My boyfriend had his kids over, and I needed my space away from their chaos. I said I was going to my bedroom to get time alone. Boyfriend comes in maybe 20 minutes later to check on me, and not even 2 minutes following that, his kids are in my room and on my bed. The youngest is doing flips and moving the bed from the wall. I told them to get out 6 times before they actually listened. My boyfriend said they just want to be around us, and I said I don't care. He asked me to make a schedule of when they could be in my room with us. I refuse. He says I'm being unreasonable and that by being with a single parent, I need to learn to compromise. Edit, I'm 30, he's 32. The only issue I have is with the kids being in my bedroom. I get along with them well, but it doesn't change the fact that my space is disrespected and they have no business in my bedroom. We don't live together. This is happening at my home. He's been bringing the kids to my house every other weekend because we've been tiptoeing around moving in together. Not the idiot, but you have a boyfriend problem, not a kid problem. Your boyfriend isn't respecting your boundaries and you aren't enforcing them. I don't think it's unreasonable for you to be able to request your bedroom be a kid-free zone for several hours. At the very least, the kids should be required to knock and ask for permission before entering. That's just common courtesy, and they're old enough to understand. Unless your boyfriend is willing to work with you, I think you may have a difficult decision. Yeah, if OP is asking for alone time and the boyfriend crashes that 20 minutes later and the kids are following him, he is not respecting boundaries. And obviously he's not going to teach his kids any better. OP, this is your house, not a shared one. He's right that if you're serious with someone who has kids, you will need to compromise, but he's also not asking you to compromise. He's asking you to completely sacrifice your bedroom as a personal space. You two are not compatible. Time to move on.